Hello. This is going to be the first review for quite a couple of months because I've been busy with other stuff. But on our return to reviewing, um, we are going to be reviewing the Ferrari F10 from 2010, driven by both Felipe Massa and Fernando Alonso. Now, coming into 2010, Ferrari had a overall disastrous 2009 season where they only had one victory under their belt, and that was in Belgium when Kimi Raikkonen won, and Ferrari only finished fourth in the constructors' championship following the new regulations at that time. But 2010 was much better for them, especially with new signing Fernando Alonso after he won on his debut for the team in Bahrain, and Felipe Massa made it a Ferrari 1-2, and there was the controversial German Grand Prix where Massa was told to let Alonso win the race under team orders, and in Monaco, Alonso had a crash during free practice and did not take part in qualifying and started from the back but recovered to finish 6th. He initially finished 7th, but Michael Schumacher did an illegal pass on him, and he had 20 seconds added to his race time and was demoted to 12th, promoting Alonso back up to 6th. The overall in 2010, they started off as the second to best car, as I could say, probably at least the second best car, close to to Red Bull, who of course were the constructors and drivers' champions at that time, in 2010, of course. And during the season, Ferrari achieved 5 victories, which were all achieved by Alonso. Alonso won the races in Bahrain, Germany, Italy, which of course was Ferrari's home race, Singapore, and Korea. But going into the last round, Alonso was leading the championship, and he needed to finish at least 3rd to have a chance of winning in Abu Dhabi, to have a chance of winning the championship. But it all went horribly wrong, as when a safety car was deployed following a first lap accident, Alonso stayed out and came out, and after he came in for his one and only pit stop, he came out behind the Renault of Vitaly Petrov and spent the rest of the race stuck behind the Russian's Renault. And that cost Alonso the chance to win his 3rd Drivers' Championship, as Vettel won the race and Alonso could only finish 7th. Felipe Massa, on the other hand, had a fairly mediocre season. Felipe Massa, on the other hand, had an okay return after his crash in Hungary in 2009, after he got hit by a spring. Of course, Ferrari achieved 1-2 finishes in both Ferrari achieved 1-2 finishes in both Bahrain and Germany. Yeah, so that's it. And let's go to the cars themselves. Now, both of these cars are Hot Wheels models and are in 1/18 scale. So let's take a look at the Massa car first. This is the standard car. Sorry, just let me move the Alonso one, because I can only review one at a time. Put the Alonso one there. So let's start the Massa version. Of course, this is the standard edition of the car. This is the Bahrain Grand Prix car. And they had these barcodes on the sides. If I just show you right here, and they had the F duct, which is also known as the shark fin, which is still used in Formula 1 this year, but it's going to be heavily regulated for 2018. And the rear wing's pretty nice. It has the Etihad Airways sponsor on the back, and it has the Bridgestone slick tires. Of course, this is the last Ferrari F1 car to be fitted with the Bridgestone tires, for they were replaced by Pirelli in 2011. And there's the steering wheel inside, which is showing on the bottom. So this is the Ferrari F10. Now, I bought this in January of this year, And I've owned this for 9 months, and it's a pretty nice car, to be honest, I have to say. But most of the 118 scale models I own in Formula 1 edition are Ferraris. So, if I just show you also a little bit, here's the front wing, here's the front of the car. As you can see, the front wing is very wide, and the cars in 2017 now look more aggressive, and the tires are more wider, and the front wing looks a bit modern now. Of course, I don't have any 2017 cars, so which is a shame, and tires are a bit dusty. Just gonna rub the dust off. Anyways, after Massa achieved a third place in the Korean Grand Prix, he did not score another until the Japanese Grand Prix in 2012, when he finished in second place. So let me show you a little bit more of the car itself. You have the cockpit with Massa inside, and you have the T-cam, which is red, of course, at the time. The first driver's T-cams were red, and the second driver's T-cams were yellow. And you have Massa's helmet. Pretty nice Brazilian flag tradition design. You have the wing mirrors on the sides, of course. The wing mirrors on the outboard position were banned from Spain onwards, and so Ferrari had to move their wing mirrors to the sides of the cockpit. This is because so many teams are gaining some aerodynamic advantages. And right, so that's the Massa one. Now we'll move that out of the way and bring back the Alonso car. Now, I know you're wondering, why doesn't the Alonso car have any driver inside? Well, that's because this is the Elite version, and if I just show you some differences with the Elite version, you can see the tires are more detailed. They have these scrubbing on them, similar to what Mini Champs do. And I'll just show you on the cockpit of the Alonso car. As you can see, this is the car with which Alonso won on his opening debut with. This is the Bahrain Grand Prix car, of course, as you can tell. We have the cockpit, seat belts inside, the Ferrari wheel, we have the yellow T-cam. Just show you the bottom. As you can see right there, it's a different colour on the bottom compared to the Massa version. I'll just show you the exhausts here on the back, and of course the exhausts are coming out of the sides as part of the technical regulations which came into place in 2009. And of course, the cars got larger in 2010 due to the ban on refueling during the race, which meant that drivers the fuel tanks got much larger, and drivers had to make one pit stop during the race. As always, drivers only stopped once most of the time in 2010, but when the Pirelli tires came into play in 2011, the Pirellis wore a lot quicker than the Japanese Bridgestones do. And you also have the antennas in there on the sides, pretty fragile. I'll just show you. See, some of the sponsors on the nose cone on this car are a bit smaller compared to the Massa car. See, the Ferrari logo is a bit smaller. But I'll just get the Massa one back. Show you some differences. So if I show you them on the Massa car, you can see the Ferrari logo is bigger on the Massa car. Front wing's a bit dusty, but never mind about that. And nose cone's a bit dusty. And you have the exhaust here too, which I forgot to mention about the Massa car. Right, back to the Alonso one. And you can tell the show you here on the shark fin, or the F-duct, whatever you want to call it. And pretty nice car, the Alonso version. I prefer to the Massa version of the car. And this is mainly because of the tires. Tires a bit dusty there. Just let me get that off. And one thing I also like is that the the cockpit of the F10 right there. And yeah, it's a nice car to review. So, right, so that is the conclusion of the review of the Ferrari F10 from 2010, driven by both Felipe Massa and Fernando Alonso. This car will get a 8.5 out of 10 because mainly because Alonso won in his debut, but also because Ferrari lost out on the driver's title in Abu Dhabi after they chose the wrong pit stop strategy for Alonso. Right. Like, comment, subscribe for more, and I'll see you for the next one.